Hi, my name is Benedict and I'm a record producer. What that means is that I help people get their stories told and delivered. So basically, my job is to help you get your songs, your albums, your music out where it needs to be in a form in which those people who want to receive your music are ready, willing, and able to get it there. This is what I do for my living and have done for quite some time. I was trained in a recording studio over 30 years ago. I have done this, amongst other things, including selling cars for some time. Really, I encourage you, before starting to contact me, to do some research on me. This helps you tremendously because the more you understand about me, the more you understand what I need to help you. It is frustrating having people launch into a conversation and they're really at a mismatch for what I can do, or they haven't understood what they need to tell me so that I can even understand what they want to do. And I know you might think, but I don't want to spend the time. But if you want to make a great record, if you want to make a great statement, your own Dark Side of the Moon, or your own Justice for All, or whatever you're into. For me, it's nothing to do with genre. It's about getting that story across. If you want to do that, straight out of Compton, I guess, that's a record with a story. Then take some time. We don't want to rush this. If we rush this, we're going to get it wrong. If we get it wrong, it face plants. So I have a huge website. I know it is unfashionably huge, but it's been built over, easily 20 years. There is a homepage that gives you a sense of where you might want to go, gives you a bit of an overview, some of the latest things that I've been doing. You may want to go straight into here to have a look at what I do. Maybe start with latest work. Not everything that's done is up here, but things that I can share, because I do a certain amount of work that I can't share, but there are certainly things here. Like at the moment, the big amount of work has gone into Naked Head's record, getting that done. We had the launch a couple of weeks ago, and they're also doing their launch now in Adelaide in, I think it's a week. I don't get to go to that one because it's too far to walk. Dig into this sort of material, understand what I've done. I mean, some of these tracks, like Captain, had 200 tracks in them. Like one song, 200 tracks. There's a lot of mixing to go in there, and to have all those parts working and telling the story, because each one of these is a story in its own right. Each one of these is a different little universe. I also went through and provided new mixes and master for their first EP to bring that up to standard. From time to time, I do mix walkthroughs, which is showing how I've mixed somebody's track. I've done a huge amount of work with Jake. Made his record, totally produced his record, co-wrote one of the tracks. The title track, Falling Down in Love, is a co-write. I wrote the music for that. Yes, I do podcast stuff too. Not a ton of it, but with professional clients like Randall, who's a lawyer, I love that kind of work. It's good. It's not my main aim in life, but I enjoy doing that as well. If you want to see my music, go off to the discography. Just don't make the mistake of thinking that my personal music represents what I'm going to do with you. This is my personal music, and being a record producer, I sometimes view the world a little differently from the way the average musician does, and I'm out there trying to do something of my own, which is different. You might be going, but who is this guy? How do I know anything about him? Well, I've got an About page, which gives you a pretty reasonable potted history, including pictures of my good self. There is an interview. There are a couple of links to interviews, an older studio, including one of my older publicity shots from around the time where I nearly got signed. Mostly, I would encourage you to be looking at one or two main places here. Once you get over what does this guy do? The music production page is probably what you're looking for if you're coming to me with regards to mixing your record or for producer advice. And that is pretty time-consuming work, so I will ask you to have put some time in to understand. Again, there's portfolio, so there's a mix reel with Jake and various other people's work that I have done, so there's a fair variety. You'll see that I'm not locked into a particular genre. What I am locked into is story. If this song of yours or your record has a story to tell, and I can understand that and I can feel it, I'm going to tell you if I want to do it. If I don't want to do it, I'm going to let you know. Mostly I'm looking for that story. How can we tell your story right? And there's a whole lot of FAQs. While you don't necessarily have to read all these things, these are built out of hard-fought, hard-won experience. In other words, points of pain, not about being negative, it's about being really practical. That actually goes over the writing of Falling Down in Love. It was an accident, as many great songs are. This gives you a lot of prep as to how I think and how I feel. It will answer a lot of questions early on. So I would encourage you to read through a certain amount of that, get a bit of an understanding. There is also a lot of information in my tutorial section. As I said, this site is huge because it's just been growing over 20 years. This is my information. This is about me. One of the places that I really do need a lot of people to direct themselves to from the beginning is artist development. A lot of people, before they get into making records, have not stopped to think, who am I as an artist? And as a result, that's why they find it really hard to answer questions about, oh, who are you? What have you been doing? They might give literal sorts of things. Well, I'm 27 and I live in Florida and I went to... I don't care. Nobody cares. What people are really looking for is, are you like the Beatles? Are you like the Rolling Stones? Are you like Eminem? What's your magical, hard to define story, but that's self-evident? If you haven't got one of those, if you haven't built one of those for yourself, it is going to be tricky. The number one question that I will be looking to have answered around you is, who are you? What's your message? What's your story? We can see here one which didn't go well. This was not anyone I ever met. I just found this online and it's like, yeah, that's a fail. And this is one of those ones where we've got a stunning looking record cover, beautifully posed, and I bought that record and I love it today, and I bought more of their records and love them today. Example here, which one of these guys do you want to follow? I say, which one do you want to have babies with? Well, it's always going to be this guy, isn't it? Guess what? They're the same person. They're both Kenny Chesney. I see too many people trying to promote this sort of thing when that sort of thing is going to make a difference. Yes, you could say, oh, but why don't you have a fancier studio? Because I've got a working studio. I'm not here to show off my studio. My job is all up here. You're hiring my brain, my skills, my experience, which is not on the walls. Because you're hiring my brain, all my work's done with my brain. All my mixing is done with my brain. And the more I do, the better I get at it. So make sure that you have some sort of identity. People hire people. Help me with this, help yourself with that. Come in and have those answers so that you can show me. When you get to the point of going, I think I might be a contender, it might be worth scooting over to this article, which is linked right at the beginning, and you can always find it anyway. Who do I serve? Let's have a look at this. I don't try to serve everybody. I have learnt, again, the hard way through plenty of pain, that I'm not here to serve everybody. I'm here to serve those people who fit well with me. The common denominators for people who fit well with me, I have always found to be, they're here to tell a story. Yeah, it's in music. It doesn't have to be as literal as I woke up Sunday morning and drank another beer and wandered around the streets kicking a can listening to the choir because, well, that's a Johnny Cash song. But people who are here to deliver their message to the people who are going to want to listen. They're existing or future fans, and they're the ones who tend to go on and be successful. Now, if you are interested in talking to me, contact me. If you have something that you want me to help you with, contact me, give me the information. There are a couple of ways of doing it. There is a form. It's big, it's ugly, it asks a million questions. Some of the questions may not be relevant to your situation. Answer them. If you don't want to fill in forms, okay, then you can find me via Facebook Messenger, but I'm going to need to know the same things. Use the form, or if you're going to contact me via Messenger, give me the information that I need to know if I can help you and how I can help you. Join my Facebook group. I've got a group, the Indie Musician Guidebook. Join that and engage there. Every day I put some pro bono time aside, but I will not work on specific projects with you. Once you get to the point of being serious, there has to be investment. There will be dollars involved. Give me your budget up front, what you believe you can spend. If it's low, I might say, oh, geez, that's pretty tight. But then we can look at solutions. If you come to me and say, hey, look, I've got a couple $100, it'd be lovely to have, then we find another way of attacking it, and that's about being open-minded. There may be a way to change your approach completely and still get a working result. Help me to help you, and that way my job gets done, which is to help you get your stories told, your material out there in the public, and you out there drawing audiences to you, because artist development's all about making people want to look to you. Have a good day.